Good morning, everyone. Today's October 5th, 2022. One of you guys want to start it off?
Upon review of commission minutes of September 7th, 2022 and September 21st, 2022, with a motion to approve as presented.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? The motion does carry.
Upon review of the exonerations as presented by the Nicholas County Assessor, we move accordingly.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? The motion does carry.
Upon review of estate and fiduciary matters as presented by the Nicholas County Clerk, move to approve accordingly unless otherwise noted.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? The motion also carries.
Upon submission of budget revisions received from the elected officials and department heads, the commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? The motion does carry.
Upon review of invoices as submitted by various departmental offices, the commission will take the appropriate action as deemed necessary.
Okay. All those in favor? Anyone against? The motion also carries. Terms of office expiring. Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission.
Concerning these appointments, Joey Myers, Eugene Underwood, and Amy Walker have all been good additions to the board since we restructured it. They have been studious in their attendance. Mr. Gerald actually has missed 3 meetings in a row, so he had to be removed anyways. And so because of his lack of attendance to those meetings. And so that does open a position where we're talking about putting a representative for Indian Rocks on the board. And I want to, hold on one second, let me get his last name. I want to make a motion to reappoint Joey Myers, Eugene Underwood, Amy Walker, and also appoint Brandon Vance of Craigsville to represent Indian Rocks for those 4 positions.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion does carry. Okay. New River Gorge Regional Economic Development Authority vacancy.
I'd like to nominate Chris Annaline for that position.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? Motion does carry. We have Wilderness Public Service District.
I'd also like to nominate Chris Annaline for that position as well.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? The motion does carry. Nettie Levacy, PSD vacancy, term of office ending November 6, 2025.
I'd like to request this be tabled one more time. I'm down to 3 candidates. I want to get down to 2 and then have actually both of them call each of you. Just to make sure they truly understand the extent of what we expect going forward on that PSD.
That's fine.
For a personal interview next week.
It's fine by me. I'll see what I can do with them.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Our 9/15 appointment is canceled. Okay. For our 9:30, we have the Commission's request of prosecuting Attorney Jonathan Sweeney regarding the jail bill.
Mr. President, let me suggest to you that this may involve personnel and some sensitive law enforcement issues, so maybe you would want to go into executive session.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I need a motion then.
Make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to West Virginia Code 6-9A-3 and 4. It is 9:31 a.m. I'd like to request that the prosecuting attorney staff and legal counsel remain in the room.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against the motion does carry. We are in executive session.
I'll make a motion to exit executive session pursuant to West Virginia Code 6-9A-3 and 4. It is 10:17 a.m. No decisions were made during that time.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against the motion does carry. We're out of executive session.
We got behind on schedule because of that executive session, so I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. My presentation on Amendment 2 can wait until the end. even if we have to wait till after public comment, so then that way we can go ahead and continue with our schedule.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion does carry. All right. Now we have Susan James from Mountain Lake Campground and Cabins and Lisa Strader, Director of Visit Southern West Virginia, Revisit Southern West Virginia, CBP contract.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good morning. And then anybody that's gonna talk, if you don't care to come to the front row, so the mics will pick you up. Because usually everybody talks quietly. We can't hear for the minutes.
Is that directed towards you? First off, I want to give you our latest audit. We do this file audit each year. We usually mail them, but since I was coming, I just brought it in person. That's just for your records.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So I know that we met. I know that you weren't able to be here. I think I brought most of everything that I had at that time. I did send you an email and I tried to answer the questions that you did have at that time. Is there anything else that I can answer for you right now regarding?
Well, I mean, you know, you all requested to be on the agenda, so I mean, we want to
Okay.
hear out what you all have.
Well, I'm just here to ask you to reconsider the decision
Okay.
for the county, not just for me. I just feel that our reach, well, for the amount of money that the county pays Visit West Virginia and the exposure, I feel like it's well worth the exposure we get. Instead of just, not that our CPV hasn't come a long way, because I've been here a long time and I've witnessed it, and I'm very grateful and thankful for how it's progressed. But at the end of the day, we still don't have the exposure that they have. And for businesses like myself, it is a big deal because it allows me to advertise with them at I can't afford West Virginia tourism. It's just too expensive.
I didn't know you could advertise with them, to be honest with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can,
Okay.
but it's just out of my reach. But Southern West Virginia allows me to advertise and get a nice ad, half page, full page, at a reasonable price that I can afford. And, you know, where they represent 9 counties, the people, when they come to West Virginia, I feel, in my opinion, you know, they go to West Virginia Tourism, and then I think they're the next big player because they represent so many, which means their reach is more. So I feel like if you take that money and just give it to our CBB, yeah, it might be, I'm sure it would benefit the CBB, but I don't think it's not gonna give me the exposure it would with it. And I bring a lot of money to this county. I have over 300 campsites, 16 cabins. We're always putting money in there. I have since day one. And I feel that before the decision was made to begin with, that you all should have talked to me about my opinion on it. I know it's still your decision, and I respect that, but I would have respected it a lot more if you would have come and talked to the people that it affected. So I'm just want to beg you to please consider changing it. And I am more than willing to change that decision. I'll sit on the board here, I'll sit on the board there to communicate with you and any questions you have, and take it back to the board and see what I can do.
And just build on what Susan says, you know, we do have a large budget that we're able to leverage for a lot of exposure. We do spend probably, I think this year, I'm going to estimate 60 to 80,000 with West Virginia Tourism to promote on the state level. And we do a lot of cooperative advertising through that, not only with the state, but with other CBBs, other industries, and we're always open to that. We've done co-ops with state parks, we've done co-ops with individual attractions, with other, like I said, CBBs. Anything that's in our region, we have a very open mind about offsetting some of the costs for those advertisements that can reach a much larger market. I did bring along our integrated marketing plan that shows what we've done this year, if y'all would like to see it. And you know, again, I think I'd give you our annual report, which that'll be up again soon. But we're very proactive. We stay on top of all the new trends. We do invest a lot of money. We do try to give a lot of coverage to each of our counties. every ad that we have running right now, we have multiple ads running right now, represent every single county that we have. We try not to play any type of favorites based on any kind of financial input. We really feel like we're stronger together. I'll go ahead and do that. Just
So concerning Visit Southern West Virginia, should the commission continue its current decision to retract itself? Do I understand correctly that lodging cannot advertise with you, but any other business can?
so if there's
In
not
Nicholas County.
a lodging component, they can. If they don't have a lodging component.
Yes.
So unfortunately, some of our bigger members in this area, they may have other businesses, but if they have a lodging component, they can't. And that is just set by our bylaws as a fairness factor, because it's just really hard. Like if you're giving me money to promote Nicholas County, and if I was telling everybody here, go stay in Webster or go stay in whatever county that's not somebody that gives us money, I'm reinvesting your money to put people in, to get money for other counties. So we just don't do that. If it has a lodging
But
component,
you
they
restrict
can't.
Mrs. James and other ones from even being able to pay for advertising
Yes.
with your organization?
Yes, that's how we work. Because and I will tell you, our guide, we print 100,000 of those. We run out every year. And it's an expensive piece to do, but it's well worth it. If anybody tells you print's dead, they're wrong. We go through, like I said, a good 100,000 a year. And that is paid for from that money. So that's why we restrict those things, because we want to promote the people who have a vested interest. So yes, if it's like the winery that doesn't have lodging, they would be able to stay a member. The lake itself, Battle Run, that's only camping. Anything that pays hotel motel tax cannot be a member
If the county's not a member?
if the county's not a partner, yes.
Do you have any information or data or something we'd have to mine ourselves? Who collects hotel motel tax in Nicholas County? How many of those people advertise with you?
Right now, obviously in our visitor's guide, we have, which I have one. Yeah, there's 8 or 9. We don't do the city of Summersville, and I think we discussed that before. So it's not the hotels, and so it's just the county. And we did pick up a couple new members. We have another member that wants to be a member, but they have 3 Airbnbs. So based on that, we can't be a member until unless you guys come back. But we just picked up 2 new members, which we'll keep at least one person on our board, because we were afraid we were going to lose any board representation from this county. If you
You
go,
won't see it.
do you guys need any of that? I brought something. I knew I brought it last time, but I brought it again just in case.
But where my question is going
Yes.
is, okay, let's say we have 30 different companies or attractions, however you want to say it, that pay into hotel motel tax into our thing, and we pay a percentage of that to you.
Yes.
But only 3 out of that 30 advertise with you. So why can we not just pay on the percentage of the people that advertise with you out of their, like her, for instance, let's just use a round number, you pay $5,000, and then we pay a percentage of what you get and allow you to advertise and not pay for all the other people that don't want to advertise with you. That's our number 1 issue. And our number 2 issue is we're in the process of combining to possibly make our CVB a Nicholas County. And when it becomes that puts Summersville, and they are adamantly refusing to get into your bid. So that blocks us out
There
regardless.
is refusing?
The city.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's the CVB.
Yeah. So,
I'm on that board. Who's refusing?
It's the city itself, not the CVB, the city of Summersville.
Okay, I was
Okay.
gonna say, I
Yeah.
remember
Okay, I'm
that.
sorry, I was told. So the city was.
Yeah, and we visited the city of Summersville several years ago. They did come to us and ask us about, what it took to be, and we did do a presentation for them. But as of that time, just with I think it was something to do with the conference center, that was going to prohibit that investment. And, we understood that. So that was, but they have actually reached out to us in the past and we have went. I'm sure it's all new players now. This was several years ago. But if it was Nicholas County, the money that would come to the county, you still are paying that from the county. That would still, the city's money would still be separate. Like we.
No, it would be combined.
Well, no, we have it at the Ron County, but we still get two separate checks. We get it from the county and from the city, even though it's together. Okay?
But as government entities, you'll get it
Yes.
separate.
Yes.
But as CVBs, it'll be one.
As the CVBs, but like I said, if the county wanted to pay a percentage, the county would have that right out of their money, and the city could refuse to
But
do
if
it
we
out
have
of
a
their
county
money.
CVB and the city refuses to pay, you still won't advertise in city lodging.
Right, but we could still represent
Because see, I'll
the
be honest
county.
with you, I understand the argument of hotel motel tax, because I mean, and no disrespect to you, because I'm sure it's probably established a long time ago, that's an easy metric. But if you're gonna let every other business in Nicholas County advertise, regardless of what this commission does, that is extremely unfair to Mrs. James and any other lodging organization that wants to put their hard-earned money into your organization for their benefit.
And like I said, we've been around since the 60s, and these are our bylaws, and I didn't write them, but I have to go by them. It's just, like I said, it would be hard for me to go back to the counties who invest and say, well, we're gonna let this county, because that's what's gonna happen is it would be a domino effect.
How many people do you have on staff? 7.
7 and a part-time. We have 6 full-time, 1 part-time, and another part-time seasonal. So, because we do the information desk at Tamarack as well. So that is our welcome center. So we have
Okay.
people there.
Why does the city not want so adamant about it, like you're saying?
To my understanding, it's because of the debt on the armory.
Yeah, that is my
That
understanding.
would just, their buy-in would be around 60 grand and they don't think it's worth the benefit. You don't get.
Yeah, because their hotel motels like $450,000.
Well, we have cities and counties that pay, like, we have cities who pay us when the counties don't. So that structure is in place. So
But it's
it is.
15% regardless.
Yes, it is. So, but it is
Okay,
suitable,
yeah.
yes.
So the city of Somersville's not gonna pay.
Right. But like I said, that structure is in place. We have cities that pay out of counties. They just pay it from their money. and
60%.
So, wait a minute, I'm lost here. So the money that you collect, that you pay them, you want to keep in-house with Somersville CBD, is that what you're saying? The city agrees to do that, they just don't want to pay them?
No, we don't even have an agreement on that. Right now, what the situation is of the roughly 112,000 that we collected out of hotel motel, 50% of that has to go to
Right.
CVBs.
Right.
And it would all go to, well, right now, it would all go to only Somersville CVB because Richwood's not credited,
Correct.
rather than 15% and then 35% going to Somersville.
But,
Because the 15 would go to Southern West Virginia.
right, but, I mean, I don't understand the way of thinking that you all don't, or the city, whoever is behind this, does not feel that the county does not benefit from paying that to them, and you're gonna take that money and that exposure and just put it with us, Somersville.
Well, I mean, I'll have to add, I mean, you're on the board and you've got board members with you. What about Somersville CVB currently is not capable of getting the
Because
kind
we
of
don't have
reach?
the reach that they have. I mean,
$400,000. $400,000 is a lot of money.
Still,
but at the end of the day, when you pay them 7, I mean, I know you're saying 13, but you don't always pay them 13.
15% of whatever we collect. So it'll be about $17,000 this year if we continue.
Because you got the lump sum from the Airbnb.
Right.
Okay, that's what jumped it up. But you look historically, what have we averaged paying them compared to what we're getting? There's no way
8 to 10.
Somersville CBD has the reach
Yeah.
that they do. I mean, you look at the letter I sent you, I did a comparison. I got the numbers from our website that we do here, theirs, the brochure distribution. There's no comparison in that. How can we feel that? We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that. 'Cause
Well,
it'll never make me
if Southern CVB, let me ask you this, if Southern CVB said if the county pays in, only ice cream shops or can advertise, do you think the county should spend $15,000 for Fat Eddie's and Chill Out Grill in Richwood?
I think we should pay them regardless what they say. who can advertise. Because I think the county as a whole, and that's what we're here to serve, is the county as a whole.
Can you give us any metrics on that?
Oh, but I'm sorry.
On how the county benefits from this?
I mean, I can give you the metrics of what, how much money we spend and the return that we have on investment. I don't have the STR reports for Nicholas County, but I do have the Airbnb reports. I don't know if you've seen those.
What do you consider return to the county?
I'm sorry, return on
what do you-
investment?
right.
Visitorship.
Okay.
So we have,
And you have a mechanism to track that?
we do use our analytics that we have online. We've used Arrival List to track visitors from our advertising.
Okay.
And we have, we also use a lot of the state's data, which they share openly, with the counties. And of course, like I said, we do use analytics off of all of our advertising.
But that is a hard number to track.
It is,
And I
'cause
know
we don't
that
sell
sounds like,
anything.
I'm feeding you a line of shit, okay? I'm just upfront, I'm not politically correct, I don't claim to be. But when we ask our customers how they hear about us, I mean, it's like when you pay for a billboard. You can't track that hard, round number. Do you know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel
You do keep that.
all advertising is kind of that way, unless you print a coupon and they bring it into you, then you have hard evidence of how many you get.
Right.
So, I don't know, I'm just,
There's two different reports there. The bottom one is, that's just information for you guys to have. That's your Airbnb data,
Okay.
which we pay about $6,000 a year for. They track. And that's comparing 21 to 22.
Okay, so on the back row, you got our CVP, Somersville. So what are you guys here for? What is your opinion of what's going on here?
Well, this isn't something, I mean, this wasn't a CBB decision. It didn't come to a vote for us. So it wasn't something that, it isn't a decision that we're making. We obviously definitely do see how it is affecting some of our members of our community differently. There are some that will not be allowed to continue to advertise. There are some that will. Obviously, I do feel personally, myself, and so I do feel that partnerships that we can make with our neighbors and things like that throughout the area are always a good thing. There's always a lot more strength in unity than there is in, division. But basically, I know that we do have very valuable partners like Susan that feel wholeheartedly and believe wholeheartedly. She's been involved with Visit Southern West Virginia for a long time. And so hearing the different benefits and things like that they do, like I understand when Susan says that they have a much larger reach than what we do. It is because they do represent a much larger group as a whole, multiple counties versus one county. So as Susan says, she feels like obviously their website gets a lot more attention than like what ours does. I do feel confident that there are things that I can do and our board can do to continue to improve our CBD. That's our goal. We're always looking for ways to improve. And so we're willing to do that. And, if you guys do stand by your decision that you had made previously to not continue, have already been looking in ways to help bridge that gap. But whether or not we can completely, make up for that difference in the reach and things like that, I mean, that's, our budget is a lot smaller compared to Visit Southern West Virginia's collective budget that they have for everywhere. So I think that as a whole, the board, and I can't speak for the individuals, but I'd say that there's probably some differing opinions. Some are for it, some, might be neutral. But we're here to support whatever decision is made either way, because that is the county's decision, and so we're here to support either way, and then continue to serve our tourism partners the very best that we can, and to continue to improve on that.
So if we increased your budget by we're paying them 15 to 20,000 more a year, are you going to be able to make it up
No.
for her?
they're not. But
I'm asking the questions and I want to know the answers, because I'm not getting the answers I want to be able to. I think you're the only one they have. Out
You
of
know
that
how
whole
many people I
book,
bring to this county,
out of,
though? I mean,
out of that whole book, you're the only one there. And I understand, that's why I asked you about your B&O. If I could pay what you make out of B&O to them and them keep you, I'd probably be okay with that. But the problem is I'm paying all this B&O and I'm getting one result.
Summersville Lake Retreat also said they reached out to you guys as well, because he sent me a message this morning.
I think he sent us a letter.
Yeah, and,
Yes,
yes.
that's true.
And I have had some feedback, I've had some people wanting to join. I do believe we do help more than one person. I fully believe that.
I do too. Just, I'm the only one that has a mouth.
The problem of the whole thing is, and when Garrett brought it up to begin with, honestly, I didn't even know anything about it until it came to us. And I'll take that back to our first conversation. You've never bothered to come in here in 2 years and introduce yourself.
Yes, I have been here before, after the previous staff director left, and then COVID hit, and I definitely should have picked back up. And for that, and I think I told you guys. Yeah, I came in 2019.
Yes, it was my first one.
Well, and what about you all reached out to the businesses that this is affecting? You all didn't do that either before you made this decision. So
Well, we
I
can't think
mean,
about 3 businesses. We got to think about 200 businesses that are all in this county.
Right, but again, do you know how many people I bring to this county? We're sold out every
Well, but
week.
you can't put all your eggs in their basket. You all do wonderful with your advertising. I watch you all the time online.
No. Well, it sounds like you all have already made up your mind anyway, but that's all right. I just,
There hasn't been
There's-
any decision. There's talk, and that's why you're here, and that's why I'm asking them questions. Because if we're gonna join forces with them, that's gonna become our CBD. So we're gonna be throwing more money at them anyway. And, I mean, wouldn't you love the fact they advertised for you and you never had to buy that $1,000 ad?
I
And you
still
got
have to
it for
buy
free?
that. It just is not gonna get the reach that my money spent with her gets. Do you understand that? I mean, you're not in a tourism business. I get that
I
you don't.
understand that, but also you don't understand either until we try.
I understand the numbers. But that's okay. I get what you're saying, that I don't count just because I'm on business.
No,
So-
that is
No,
not
that's
true.
exactly what I
Because you're a
heard.
volume, but then you're hearing the wrong thing. And if you're gonna put words in my mouth, I'm not gonna listen to you on anything. Okay? Let us work this out and figure it out. Don't come in here demanding and putting words in our mouth
I'm
that are
not
untrue.
demanding.
Yeah, you are. You're putting words in my mouth that you don't matter. If you didn't matter, you wouldn't be sitting here talking to me. You matter as much as she does, he does, everybody does. So don't come in here and give us this pouty little thing that you don't pay attention to me, I bring all these people. Yes, we do. That's why you're here, and you're here to help us figure this out.
Well, I apologize if I come across that
You
way,
come
but
across
did you not
exactly
just
that
say that I'm just one business?
No, I said you're helping one business. That's the only result we're seeing. Okay?
I
For
hear
what we're paying her, you shouldn't have to buy an ad. It should be free, because you're the only one taking advantage of it.
That's
So,
not true.
That's not true. We have multiple
What
ads.
other lodging buys ads with you? Because I'm playing devil's advocate, curious.
So we have, obviously, Summersville Lake Retreat, the winery, which I know that's not lodging.
Right.
So the dive shop, we have the Carnifex Ferry Cabins, Summersville Lake Retreat, let's see, Carnifex, Summersville Lake Retreat, and then Susan. I think that's it. That actually pass lodging, but they also, for $50, $55 to $100, up to $10 a year, depending on what the membership is, they still get listed, they still get that on our website, and we have 9 lodging facilities, 10 lodging facilities that do that, that have the listing that may not be able to afford the extra advertising. But with that, they also get on our website, they get their link, they get that promotion that way. And our website, I don't think, I may have included in that letter our analytics, but our website is very high traffic. And we get a lot of, and we can track our click-throughs now. We just changed our analytic program last year to see how many times people leave our site and go to these properties. So all of those are on there, as well as the, the camping, the lodging. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, you know, we have a very large area in our brochure that does Nicholas County, but once we lose all these members, it's not that I'm gonna take away anything, it's just that footprint's gonna shrink just because there's not gonna be as many people in it. So,
And back to what you said, if I mattered, or any of us businesses mattered, I feel like you all would have come and gathered information before you had a conversation, to your point.
So back to my original question. If we threw more money at you, could you do for her what she does?
We can definitely work towards that. So it would just become dollar for dollar, so to speak, is what we can get out of that. I'm already looking at increasing our visitor guide production, like currently. Before I came, I think they were distributing like around 20,000. Through COVID, it got reduced down to like 15. So, you know, there's a vast difference there as far as visitors guide production. That's something that even prior to this situation, this concern, I had already been considering upping that number anyhow. But again, it's dollar for dollar, you know, certain, like
Yeah,
money
it's
can
not-
only go so far,
It's
you know
not
what I
just
mean?
us, but can that money be stretched of all the businesses that we'd be losing out of Southern West Virginia? Divide that up by how many?
3.
3? There's more, but
3. She just listed off 3.
no, we have,
Still.
we have 9 members that have lodging. We just
Right.
have 3 that buy a separate ad, but they still invest in the business of Southern West Virginia.
But they do pay a membership.
They do pay a membership fee, yes. And this is not the only piece that we do. We do 100,000 of these, but we also do 25,000 motorcycle guides, 15,000 passports. We do a wedding guide, so Nicholas County is included in all of those things.
so you would have to bump up more money to her to even out the amount of businesses that we'd be losing, right?
And I will tell you, this thing is expensive as all get. I'm a little distressed over 2023 quotes, but, you know, we do it because it's what works for Southern West Virginia.
I'm new to the CBG board, so I'm kind of just here to gather information. And I am on the finance committee. And I don't want her to feel like she's put on the spot to tell you what she could do. I would like for her to be able to go back and say, hey, if they're gonna give me this X amount of dollar, let her say, okay, yeah, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that, before you make a decision. And and again, I'm being new here, so I would like to see better communication. I mean, like, I'm coming in the middle of what's going on, so that's why I'm here today, just to kind of gather what's going on. But I would like for you to give Tracy a chance to say, yeah, if we're gonna give you X amount of dollars, and Tracy come back and say, okay, I think we can do this, this, or this, before you make a decision.
I have a question, and I'm just gonna put this out there. Is there an option to maybe try to extend it for 1 year? Let Tracy and I work together to see what we can do as partners, which prior to Tracy, we've done some co-op advertising with Summersville CBB, which gives Summersville CBB more exposure and puts that weight of that cost on us, you know, more that we take away. There's opportunities there if we partner because we can offset the cost. I don't know if that would be an option, if y'all would give us a year, and I don't know if Tracy would want to do this, I'm just throwing it out there, a year to see how we could be better partners, how we could pick up the communication, how we can advertise together and co-op more to benefit everyone, and then revisit it.
Lisa, I did have a question regarding that, because I know where I'm now considered the Summersville CBB, like, for example, in the guides, like, we're not even listed. So
No.
I just wasn't sure how we would be able to do that when on a city established, if that makes sense.
We can still cooperative advertise.
Okay.
We've done it in the past. We did the,
Okay.
which we just won that award for Travel Zoo.
Yeah.
So we've done it in the past. We
Okay.
did the, I don't think you guys did the regional guide with us.
We're doing this one for 23. We're in a regional.
Yeah, so we've done different ones, but I mean, those opportunities are definitely there outside of this.
Okay.
To do, like I said, we've done them with multiple CBBs. That's not an issue. The cooperative advertising portion outside of this
That's separate.
is separate.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, that's just not, and it's 6 months, and it doesn't even have to be a year. Just get, some time to see Tracy, and it hasn't been there that long. And that, I mean, I'm just throwing that on the table, to give it a chance, to give us some communication time, to give us some time to figure out, if she has $10,000 worth of advertising she'd like to do, could we cost share it to give her further reach, to give us further reach? And it's a win-win for everybody. I can actively put my folks down here and seek out more members, and do some provisional memberships for 2023 and see what happens. I mean, that, like I said, I'm just putting that option out on the table. It doesn't have to be a lifelong commitment.
And I'd like to apologize if I've come across disrespectful, but I will not apologize for being passionate about my business and the people I try to bring here. Because I love this county, and I promote the hell out of it. But, like I said, I apologize if I've been disrespectful, because I never want to be that. But I am passionate about what I do.
So what are we paid for now? Aren't we already paid through this year?
No.
No?
We're paid up to probably the middle of October because of the 120-day notice.
Okay, but I'd be open to just starting it over January 1, and then you would be paid up for this year.
I think a lot of what has occurred here is lack of communication.
I agree.
Okay? And we kind of felt like we were getting the short end of the stick, okay? That we weren't getting our money's worth on what we were putting out, okay? And I think you've seen that.
Yes.
You see where our feelings are at. We're rooting for Nicholas County here, okay? And what's best for our businesses in the county. And if we feel we're not getting our money's worth from you, then we're gonna look at another avenue. You understand where we're coming from?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I'm all about the
Because we're from the county. Okay?
We're
Okay?
we're in
And
so
this
many
is where this
groups.
decision lies, okay?
But,
We're in so many groups, Nicholas County comes last. We're gonna change that, we're gonna come first. And that's what this whole thing's about.
and I'm
Okay.
willing to work
We're
with
gonna
you
be
on that.
first.
I mean, I want to be involved and help with the
So
county.
that's what we're not trying to
But
punish
you have to
anybody, we're not trying to do
communicate with us,
anything. You have to,
Okay.
Yes.
I will caveat one thing. I said, I wouldn't care if the contract started over January 1, but if y'all did want to do like a provisional for like 23, I would need to know, just because we were already selling ads and we didn't send them to our Nicholas County folks because we didn't want to mislead them, or we didn't want to be deceitful and be like, oh yeah, never mind, that type of thing. And the same with the membership. We've had people.
So is it too late for you to do that for this?
No,
current
it's not. It's
fiscal
not.
year?
Like I said, I would have no problem starting I know you guys have already made that plan if you wanted to start over in 23. If I knew for sure, or if we did a contract and dated it, then put in there, this starts January 1, because our guide won't come out again until 23. So as long as I know that's going to happen, that in good faith, I could go ahead and include everyone.
Well, I'm the commissioner that brought this up, and I'm the commissioner that made the motion to remove us from Visit Southern CVB, because I really don't feel it's benefited a lot of business. I think it has benefited businesses. And I am a wholehearted believer in Summersville CVB. However, I think the commission should task itself between now and next meeting to consider continuing through June 30th of next year and prove us wrong.
Okay.
But now, that's not a motion.
I know, I understand.
I mean, if they want to make a motion, I'm not willing to do that today, but I probably will be October 19th. But I'd be willing to consider that.
And can I ask a question? If you all come up with a decision between yourselves that you feel that we could better communicate, I am more than willing to do anything you need
Yes.
and try to find out within my business or communicate with the other businesses in the county. You just let me know what that list is and I will be more
Well,
listed.
perhaps even, Lisa, of course, we're going to expect out of Southern CVB itself, but also you can kind of help us bridge the gap.
Yes, I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah,
And
that would be a big help.
I would be happy to, I obviously can email you all the time, but if you guys would like to see me once every couple months, however often.
I think that'd be appropriate.
I would not mind, even if it was like coming here and getting quarterly reports, I can do that. And if there's anything that I can send you that would help in the meantime, if you want our analytics from our website, or anything like that, I'd be happy to share it. I know I brought our integrated marketing plan. I'll give you one more thing. I did bring This is just kind of our goals, our marketing objectives, the same thing you see on there, and as we've completed them, and the progress, and all the different advertising we do. So those two reports kind of go together. That is just strictly Airbnb and
Right.
VRBO.
Right.
And I can pull any data you would like from that as well. That is the county. I can, I think I put the map on there, but if you want a list of like all of them, yeah. And what you're going to see in a lot of counties, it looks like the occupancy is down with the Airbnbs, but the money is up. It's because their Airbnb market is growing. So you're not really comparing apples to apples when you look at that, because you may have had 50 last year and you have 80 this year, or whatever the case may be. I think it may be I can't remember how many it is. It's not quite 100, I don't think. But, because that's definitely happened in Fayette County. They've got over 400 now.
Well, and let me ask too, if I'd like to communicate with these businesses, do you all have a list of all the Airbnbs in the county? Because if so, I'd like to have that,
That's
so I
what
can
my
contact
question was
them.
gonna be. Can
I
we
can get
them-
If you can get
I
it,
can get it from that
because
report.
the state made Airbnb start collecting tax and everything else, they still will not send it to help us with any sort of way to find the
They
list.
won't, and that's why we bought this program, is so that I can get
So,
those.
yeah, if you
I can
can, yeah,
get those.
Do
absolutely.
they not
Does
have
the
to actually have to
VRBO
get a business
collect like
license?
Airbnb does?
Yes.
Is it
Airbnb
collect-
collects it now and just
So
sends us a
it's
check
the
every year.
third-party
But the business
platform.
license,
To
they
the
don't have to
third-party
come here,
platform,
because I've
people
got some
collect it,
big ones, and I had to get
and
business
they are tasked on paying it to the county, city,
Just your
or
state business
municipality.
that
The
license.
problem is, there's kind of some zip code
That might be a
confusion.
zoning thing, in fact,
So a
because we
lot of
don't have
times the
any
money may be going to the wrong entity.
And that's what I'm worried about
Yes,
here.
that's what
Some
we're
are still
worried
getting some that should come to us.
Yeah.
So we need that information. And for us to make decisions, we gotta have input from everybody. I'm gonna listen to her a lot because she,
I understand.
she's kind of our front CVV person. So, we're not going to, we felt like, and when Garrett brought this up, we felt like we weren't getting the bang for the buck.
And I represent Cherry District also. We kind of,
Okay.
I'll look for things in
Well,
that district too.
I would ask you to please, if there's another important decision about tourism, that you speak to the tourism partners that it affects too, when you collectively gather your information to make a decision. Please. Because you do represent the county. and I
That
think that-
Airbnb report's a little bit deceptive because that's only the companies that are the entities that are registered through Airbnb.
Yeah, now
Sure.
that report is Vrbo and Airbnb. So you'll see on there, it'll tell you how many's on Vrbo, how many's on Airbnb,
Right.
and it'll tell you how many overlap on both. But if it's on a different platform, of course, a lot of these platforms are owned by the same company anyway. But if it's on a different platform, that one doesn't. But those are the two main players, and that's the report we're able to get at this time. So that's the best we can. Unfortunately, until more software is out there, that's the best we can get.
Understood.
But I can get it. I actually probably already have the list, but they sent it to me a while back, so I'll have to ask them if it's
Because
if
we could
it's
even
been
use that for our
updated.
tax office
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah. So-
And to Miss Anderson's point, to give Summersville a chance also, CVB, to prove what they could do with that funding of about $15,000, by January 30th of next year. I mean,
But it's even
we can
more
compare
about
apples to apples.
We'll be sending them Richwood's part too.
Richwood doesn't collect.
That's what
We
I'm
collect the
saying.
we collect Richwood's area.
But the money that we sent to them will now go to them, that we sent to Richwood.
Right, so it'll be about,
Be able to 25 grand.
it'll be more than that, it would be 32. But we'll get you all that information.
Are you saying 32 is Richwood and her together? or
Correct,
just- okay.
because Richwood did not become accredited in time.
Right.
And so now there's a moratorium, so for at least 3 years, all the
Okay.
funding will have to go to Summersville.
Okay, but that includes your lump sum calculation that you got from the Airbnb for this
Correct.
year?
Yeah, correct,
So-
all lodging
Okay.
for the county.
But you won't have that huge lump sum next year, correct? You know what I'm saying?
No, we should. To my understanding, the Airbnb is just what they collected this last fiscal year.
Okay.
So every fiscal year, it should be,
It went into.
that should be the new
Oh,
standard,
okay.
if you will, yes.
Okay,
But
all right, when you guys were saying lump sum, I thought you got something previous, like they went back and made.
Right, no, yeah, it's just the new,
Okay,
the state
okay.
made them start collecting the tax because the individual Airbnbs were not paying.
And I don't know if you guys found, if this is something that you find helpful, but I will tell you that as part of my job description, I was in Charleston for 3 years straight trying to get that bill passed. So we do a lot of that as well. We spend time in Charleston, we spend time with the lobbyist, and literally go room to room. And it took us 3 years. The first year it just fell flat. Second year, governor vetoed it. Third year, we finally got it through. So, but that is something that we offer to our partners who may not have the staff to send somebody to hang out in Charleston a lot. Again, that's something that we always go with, and we always legislate on the lobby on behalf of the tourism industry as well.
And one more thing I'd like you to keep in mind is, you might be giving our county more money, but when you go somewhere, I feel like, I'm not good with getting my point across, but I hope you get this. Like, if somebody wants to come to West Virginia, they're gonna contact West Virginia Tourism, in my opinion, unless they specifically know where they wanna go, okay? Then their next is gonna be them, because they represent so many. If they don't necessarily want Nicholas County, they're looking through that book and they see my ad, or they see somebody else's ad. Oh, well, Summersville looks nice, or they see the lake. So, yes, you may be giving Tracy more money, but I feel like it's specific to Nicholas County. So, somebody is gonna want to come to this county before they look at that. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
And that's what we consider ourselves, is, we've got, the state is the umbrella, and then we're the next,
Yeah.
we're the next one down. And we work a lot with the state. We, like I think I mentioned last time I was here, we brought, and we work a lot with partners. We brought in, with some partnerships, we brought in 40-some writers in 2021 that we did bring to Nicholas County. And if we weren't involved, they probably wouldn't have came to Nicholas County. I'll be perfectly frank. We did the same
See,
thing.
that's where we need the bi-monthly meetings, we need communication between the 5 of us here.
And we do that all the time. We just
Yeah.
had an influencer here over Labor Day weekend. We do that all the time. But I'm telling you, it's not cheap. The influencer we had, it was $7,000 in travel expense. The state did help us pay for that. But if you, but their stuff went viral. It went viral on TikTok, and 2 magazines picked it up.
Who was the
You can't buy
influencer?
that.
Was
The
that you with
National
Yo-Yo
Park.
Mom?
No, Yo-Yo Mama, but that went crazy too. But we had 4,000 shares. I think it's the most we've ever had on anything. No, this was a national park. They were called the National Park Travelers.
Oh.
And like I said, I feel like any PR we get for our, it doesn't matter if it's Summers County down at Sandstone Falls, out here at Summersville Lake. It doesn't matter where that coverage comes. Once they get that coverage, they come to our website, they see everything we have to offer. I can tell you, people don't come for a county. I'm just going to be frank with you. When we get calls, people want me to build their itineraries. Bus groups want me to build their itineraries. We do group tour shows. We're getting ready to do the international showcase. So when they don't ask me, we want to go to, they say, where can we spend a week?
Right, that's what
They can't spend a week. They're not going to spend a week. They may stay here a week. They may sleep here a week. But they want to go to Lost World Caverns. They want to go to the Expedition Coal Mine. They want to go to Summersville Lake. They want to go to the Muir Gorge Bridge. I can tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, over 30 years, and I've never had anybody call me and say, I want to go to this city and I want to stay in this city. I want to go to this county and I want to stay in this county. Even when I worked at a rafting company, we partnered with ATVs in McDowell County and Lyman County. We partnered with caving in Greenbrier County, and this was back in the 80s and 90s because that's what people wanted. So I just feel like I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago. I am positive that a regional effort, it just makes, we're just so much stronger when we're all working together.
Well, Commissioner Atkins' point, because in a lot of your advertising, And I realize part of it's because Mrs. James is paying for it, but a lot of your advertising is Summersville Lake.
It is.
Summersville Lake and Summersville Lake.
And we use our analytics to see what people are looking for.
Well, that's
Sure.
our biggest draw for the county.
Sure.
But once they get here, then they see the beauty
Yeah.
of everything else.
Well, right, but I would like to see Visit Southern West Virginia. I mean, you know, and the Airbnb partners in the city of Richwood, the fishing above Richwood, Cranberry Glade, stuff like that. I mean, you know, we just got a new national park. We've had a national forest for 50 years. And I realize not very much of it covers Nicholas County, but that benefits the Nicholas County.
Well, you know, we just
Tourism
did,
industry.
so we try to, we have did photo shoots and video shoots in Nicholas County before. But we circle back around. We always circle back around to our counties because the footage and the videos, and the photos get overused. And if you guys could make me a good, you know, what's attractive, what's attractive, what could we promote outside of, that you feel like that would be that bang? Because I will tell you, we go by our analytics. So we don't just say, we're gonna use this picture because we like it. We go by our analytics. We go by trends, what people are searching for, how they're finding our website. So if they are finding our website in Nicholas County because they're looking for the lake, that's what we're gonna advertise. Right now, I have some fall ads running, and it shows people hiking up on one point on Summersville Lake. Doesn't really show the lake. You can see there's some water there, but it's still very, very attractive to people. I've got some that are sitting on a rock and you can see the waterfall coming down. It's still at the lake, but that's where we're bringing our traffic in.
Well, and I understand that. And to Mrs. James' point, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But on the back end, you know, making sure we're building this out for all areas in Nicholas County. I know Craigville doesn't have a whole lot to offer, but Gary could probably tell you some stuff in Craigville to do.
Yeah.
But we've got the rails to trails. And Indian Rocks Park, the county just took it over. It's got actual Indian rock
But see,
carvings
that's
in the
what we do.
hillside.
I hate to go in a place and you say, what is there to do? And they're like, oh, there's nothing to do, go to Fayetteville.
I have
'cause that's
actually.
what happens.
I know you
Restaurants,
do. I know
the
you
waiters
do.
tell them that. It's like, no.
I've got friends
Yeah.
that brag about you and your staff, telling them all the different things to do in the county.
But,
I think if we're gonna pay this money, then I think Visit Southern West Virginia should do their part too.
And I agree, and if you guys, you know, give me my, papers and say, these are the places, I'll send somebody out there. I'll send somebody out there to drive up membership. Obviously, if you have county parks and you took over that, we'll list those because you're a county partner.
Oh, yeah, we
So-
just dumped $250,000 in Nicholas County Veterans Memorial Park.
Yes, which we were there this weekend. We did the show. And,
Yes, and I appreciate you coming to that.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and that's not something that we did because of this. We went to that because we were invited.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Bridge Day, obviously. We'll be at Railroad Days. We go all over the place. It's not in our region. The only thing we do outside of our region is like group tour travel, things like that.
Sure.
But yeah, that's something that, my staff actually enjoys doing. With the weather on Saturday, I was like, if you feel like it's gonna be, really bad, and I called them Saturday, it's like, did y'all, I'm assuming y'all didn't go, and they were like, of course we went. And they had a blast. They were just sad they had to leave before the biscuits were done. Apparently somebody was making biscuits with that apple butter.
Oh, okay,
And,
yeah. I
But
just-
even my business, Garrett, I'm not the draw. The lake is the draw. I just feed off of that.
Sure.
So I feel like you advertise your biggest asset, and then once you get them here, then you say, oh, you need to do this and this.
Oh, right,
So
right.
they stay
I can't argue
longer.
that.
But it sounds like I'm hearing you say to advertise the smaller parts of our county that are
Well,
just as beautiful.
When you hit the website, when you hit the
I know what you're saying.
accounts, when you hit the stuff, make sure, hey, you
You
got
want us to
this.
build out,
But,
you want us to build out the Nicholas
you could
County
have
section.
you could have a day guide. You could have it's not necessarily
Okay.
you have to
I
put
know
money
what you're
behind Cranberry Glades because of
Okay.
course it's in
Well,
Cranberry County.
I just want to make
Yeah,
sure
so
you're
no, yeah,
thinking
yeah.
that way.
Right. No, I
I
understand
get
that
what
spending the money on what counts because you
Yeah.
need to draw people in. But
Right.
then, not everybody wants to be on a boat every day, 7 days. Or I don't. I'm not a boat person. They might want to go fish up Cranberry. They might want to do the different things.
No, I understand what you're saying. You just want us to build out our Nicholas County
Right.
representation.
I don't care if it's a picture on Facebook, just so there's something to
I
say,
understand.
hey, we're representing all of Nicholas County and not
Or
just
Nicholas County
Summersville Lake
page.
businesses with
I
much respect
understand what you're saying.
are benefiting off $15,000.
Because the park, you got 1-2 days people can spend at the park each. We're trying to fill in the gap.
Yeah, I understand. I completely understand what you are saying. And, if we do continue on, and if you, the county gives me a list of things that y'all have taken over, because I didn't realize there was another park you guys have taken over.
What just happened?
That's okay. Well, that's something we can include.
Just a couple of
It's also something that we can, like I said, I don't mind next spring, it'll probably be spring, summer, to build that into the budget next year to get some new assets. But I will say that, well, our advertising will always go, I mean, I'm not talking about Facebook, stuff like that, but I mean, our primary advertising that we spend $500,000 on a year will be the things that draw the people in.
Well, no, it needs to go to the people
yeah.
that pay the money.
Well,
I
it's,
understand that.
and I think she understands, we have to use the things, even if I am doing the bridge, even if I have a big picture bridge, I know from experience, like I said, I worked 9 years at a rafting company, people would call me and they'd be like, well, you know, where do we stay? And I would tell them from where we were located, Summersville or Beckley. Because there's not those hotels and as many assets, you know, there's a lot of cabins in Fayette County. But I can tell you, they stay pretty darn full, so's Nichols County.
We got a pretty
yeah.
antsy judge out there, so we need to.
Okay, we'll let you go. Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
If you do
I
you want me
appreciate
to
all
come
your
back on the 19th? Is that what you said, the 19th?
We'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna send you a list of the rentals and the analytics. Is there anything else you would like to see from me in the next 2 weeks?
Just to guarantee, if we continue, you'll
Oh, I can give you that. Yeah.
prove the value.
And I agree, and again, I just threw Tracy out there. If she's willing to do that, I'm willing to do that as well. So, you guys want this to put with that other report?
Okay, thank you. Okay, probation officer Gary Evans, and teen court coordinator position and youth recruiting proposal.
I'm Aaron Evans.
Okay.
My uncle's Gary. So I have two things I want to discuss today. First, I want to thank you guys for having me here. The first, I want to get permission to post a teen court coordinator position. I believe all three of you may have the post. Teen court is going really well so far. We've listened to a lot of cases. We've had over 25 kids who have come through, and it's been a really good success. The previous coordinator has resigned, so we're looking to hire a new teen court coordinator. So that's one thing that I'm asking you guys to give me permission to do. The posting will end on October 19th, as we should have somebody hired by the next week after that.
Same pay, same everything, just for a new person.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve him taking that action.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? That motion does carry.
All right. Thank you, guys. The next thing that I'd like to discuss, I'm wanting to get permission.
Bobby, is Gary out there? Who? Gary. Gerald.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, he's right here.
You're hiding.
All right. Because I know you said he's
I
going to
look
be
at
here.
my peace shelf up there.
Just making sure Gary's there.
Didn't know where I needed to stand. I know I'm kind of big. I'm hiding Gary behind me. The next thing I wanted to discuss was permission to start the Youth Reporting Center down at the DRC, the Nichols County Youth Reporting Center, which is going to be after hours away from adult offenders.
Okay.
Right now, with juvenile probation, I have one option when I'm dealing with unruly kids that I just have no more control over, and that's sending them off. I can either lecture them, yell at them, or look for placement outside of the home. I'm wanting a third option, another option where I can benefit, where the kid can benefit and I can work to help them make better decisions, help them to behave. And that's the Youth Reporting Center, which is going to be after hours. And I have the full support of the judge and full support of Gary Gerald. And what the services that will be offered will be counseling services, such as anger management, drug addiction counseling, impulse control, tobacco cessation, mentoring. There's so many different things that we can offer them counseling-wise down there. Also, community service, help with their schoolwork. A lot of these kids are they're truant kids, where they're failing all of their classes, and they just don't want to go to school, and they don't want to work while they're at school. So we're giving them an option, a little bit more incentive to try to get better grades and to go to school. We'll also do drug testing down there. and some mentorship programs. Try to get some different people to mentor them and talk to them and help them out, try to make better decisions. So what I'm requesting, and you all have a copy of this as well, I believe. If you don't, then you can have my copy.
This one here?
Yes.
Yes. This one here does.
This one here. It will be no additional cost to the county. It's going to operate from the hours of 3:30 to about 6:30. We're still trying to work out exactly which day, if it's going to be 3 days a week or 5 days a week. So we're working on that, and basically I just would like to get permission from you guys to start that program. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer those as well.
Yeah, I see here that the supervision will be by day report center staff, probation department staff, and volunteers. Now, I'm assuming that's, Mr. Gerald, that's your staff?
Yes, sir.
That's additional hours, whatever. I'll be honest with you, Mr. Chapman's on your board. Is that going to require any more funding to
No, sir.
pay for them, or is that?
No, we're going to kind of, we have one staff member that also works part-time with Family Treatment Court.
Okay.
She's agreed to stay, like, in that capacity for the additional hours. However, if we have to stagger our hours, we will have it covered, which, like I said, it won't be any extra cost to anyone.
Okay.
And we're gonna, we've talked about transportation also. I mean, like, we're gonna work that out too.
With your vans and stuff like that?
Yeah, but we're gonna have to get, some clearance, and Aaron's gonna work on that with the parents, to get their clearance to be transported maybe home, because they're gonna be dropped off, I think Aaron said, but with school bus at our place, which stops right out by our building.
Yes.
Okay. It's obviously not going to be all of my kids on my caseload. It's going to be some that needs a little bit of extra attention. Like I said, I needed a third option, last step, straw before we started looking for placement, because one of the problems is it's difficult to find placement everywhere in the state for these kids in these facilities.
I'm impressed. I mean, I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got your ducks in your row, and you all spoken. So I mean, I think I'd like to see what comes up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll make a. Are you creating this? What technically are you doing here? Just to make sure we get this right.
We're working to start the program. We haven't started it yet. I'm really wanting to get permission to start it from you all, so we can have this.
Use the building.
Right. I'll make a motion to permit probation officer Aaron Evans, with cooperation with probation, DRC, and other entities as required, to explore this opportunity and see it come to fruition.
Okay.
I have a question for you. Okay, you got a 3:30 to 6:30. Is that every day, 5 days a week?
That's what he said.
They're working on it.
Could be 3 or
Yeah,
5.
it's-
Okay, but is that, you said it at 3:30, is that because it's after school hours?
Yes.
So what about in the summertime when there is no school? Are you still gonna run it 3:30 to 6:30, or are you still gonna have it after school, or, where's
I haven't
that?
decided. We haven't decided yet. Whenever that comes, I mean, maybe I would say I'd like to see it go through the summer as well, because I know during the summer months they need a little extra eyes on them because they don't have that. So I'd like to see that happen. We've got to work on transportation. A lot of family members don't have transportation, and we won't have the use of the school buses at that time. So we'll have to explore that and see more what can happen in the summertime.
But is this, I know you say you're gonna do tutoring classes, things like that, but, a lot of these kids have no, and you work with them, so I'm just throwing this out there, but really have no guidance, really have no parents, really have no,
Right.
Are you gonna try to give these kids a self-worth, help them with life that they're
Absolutely.
not getting? And, that's what they need, and they need it at the young age, so Gary doesn't get them as an adult. Is that kind of what you're trying to?
My whole job, like I tell the kids every time I get a new juvenile on probation, my goal is to never see these kids ever again. My whole job is that I never want to see them again anywhere in life when it comes to probation or the court system. So down there, I mentioned mentoring. I'm going to get some mentors down there. I've had some people I've been discussing this with people out in the community, and they volunteered to come down and want to mentor these kids, different pastors, different community leaders that they want to get down there and try to help mentor these kids and be an extra mother in their life or an extra father in their life, or maybe just a friend, somebody they can work with and try to help guide them.
Give them some work. That's what we're like.
Well, that's where the community service is going to come in.
There you
Well,
go.
and our counselors that work with the adults now will be working with with you. They've agreed to a couple of them have agreed to stay, some extra hours to do that.
Call your vote.
Okay. You ready to vote? Okay.
Yes,
All those in
yes,
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, anyone against? Okay, motion does carry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry for running
Okay.
late.
Okay. We have a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did good.
Well, Commissioner Cole, looks like you're bad.
You got the rest of the agenda.
Well, yeah, which one do we want to start with? Because I've got three. I guess the 10:45.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I put on here to request discussion on the McClung House with winter approaching, as well as Homeland Security equipment. So I gotta collect my notes here. Winter's coming. McClung House is, of course, sitting there. We've been blessed with the opportunity to have the 911 center located at the old post office. And really, I think we just need to make some moves on the McClung House, discuss how we might break it up or sell it all at once or what have you with the land, including what we'll refer to as the Ponterry property alongside the McClung property. You know, it's a liability, just sitting there. It does take up some of DRC's time mowing and doing the hedges and stuff like that. They can be putting in the park and at the 911 center and stuff like that. So I think that the city's doing an auction of some of their property, and it might be a good opportunity for us to see if we could auction off some of ours as well.
I'm in.
Okay.
I think that property should be broke up into three different parcels and then sold individually and then all at once. Whatever brings the house.
Okay. So
And you're talking about dividing and. Yeah. like
we would have
own
to
property,
survey
some of the property,
that
and
out.
then the other part, and then the
And then-
frontage on the harbor.
Yeah.
So you would even be cutting into some of what we'll refer to as the Vance property. Because the Vance goes all the way across on Arbuckle, so you'd have to, which I mean, really, behind your trailers, do you need much more land?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, that's,
Yeah.
again,
That's what I'm saying.
Even
over
less.
There to a point, like take that as one section, the McClung house is one section, and the big lot
and then
is
the
another.
lot at the top,
Make it
because the
easy.
lot at the top, you can be accessed with the road and State Farm.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so,
But then do an auction of all three pieces and see which brings them.
see anything wrong with that?
I mean, that's a good job.
Now, I mean, I don't know that this county's ever auctioned off property before.
Well, they have.
Really?
Yeah.
The county commission?
All counties do.
Well, sure, but like I haven't seen one for a long time.
Is it in the name of the building commission or the?
County commission.
County commission.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's how county gets rid of properties, by public auction.
Right. Now, do we have to like solicit 3 auctioneers? What's the process on that?
Well, I think there's just such a limited number of, I mean, I think you get proposals since there's such a limited number of auctioneers available to do
Yeah.
that. And really, there's only one in the state that does statewide like that.
Right. Right. That's kind of what I was thinking.
And we wouldn't even pay them. They would just be.
Right, be a buyer's premium.
Buyer's premium.
Right.
So,
Okay.
first.
So, do you want to make the motion or do we make the motion? Just a minute. Okay, I'll make a motion that we work towards auctioning off what we'll refer to as the McClung, Ponterry, and part of the Vance class properties after a survey would take place directed to
I
those
don't know
3
if you have
described
time.
lots. Well, that's true.
We probably just need somebody to draw it up and a survey being done when it's sold, because I don't, I think the city stuff's going up in around November.
I don't know, but isn't it online?
There's a sign up, but I didn't get to read it this morning.
I haven't seen it online.
It's not on the
I
website.
searched every auction they had last night, they wasn't on.
Right. Me either.
I know that the city building commission approved it about a week ago, so, to sign a contract, so.
The sign's up at the intersection.
It is.
Yeah, it was up this morning.
Just make a motion that we move on.
Now, survey. Is that considered professional services? What's the maximum we would have to solicit before we'd have to put it out to bid?
Did Wayne do any survey work on that before?
Well, it's broke up, but it's not broke up well.
It's broken up, not the way you want it broken up.
Right, because we're gonna have to be splitting parcels and everything.
But if he's already done the work, it would just, I would think that he would be able to do.
I don't think,
He probably can just make us a plat
Yeah.
to go on.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So for Patty's sake and the minute's sake, I'll make a motion to look into putting all these properties listed up for auction, excluding the building and parking lot of Vance Glass. We'll request a plat from local surveyors and figure out the survey whenever
We'll
we
just
get
go
to
to
it.
the word you want to keep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't be no farther than where we're at now.
And do we set a minimum when we vote on this, or?
I think once you get it cut up the way you want it, I mean, the city did.
So yeah, we don't have to have it in the motion, right? We can just figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something you can do
We can do
Okay.
it.
soon.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you could flag it and have
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's something. we can do.
You're gonna need some sort of a plat, or some sort of a map in your advertising.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So all that makes sense. I think that's the end of my motion.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? Motion does carry.
I think that's a good and appropriate action. And also, it says on there, the Homeland Security equipment, of course, with the purchase of the new pickup truck, the 2011 or 12, whatever year that F-250 is, we need to make a decision on it. JJ from the animal shelter has requested consideration because his truck's gonna need some work. And so we're either gonna have to take the other truck and give it to him and or this one. And so if that's something we wanna talk about. The little black box trailer that John has, we talked about auctioning it off, but with the purchase of the takeover of Indian Rocks Park, that might be something that could benefit the park in hauling equipment.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's all. So just those two other things. What do you think about the
You
two?
okay with me?
Yes.
Yes, I did call John on all this before. I didn't
Yes.
want to surprise him, ask him.
And actually, I've already got the little black trailer. It's loaded down with all the old wood that was when we tore everything down inside the Vance Glass. So it's loaded down with wood that we can use at the park as well. And
We
I've
always keep
already emptied the truck out, so it can be ready as close as next week, whatever you all decide.
The only thing I have a problem with that truck you want to get rid of, that's just way too much trouble for JJ.
Well, it's getting older. I mean, it's 10 years old, 11 years old.
But what I'm saying is it's too beefy of a truck, it's too much. He doesn't need something that's gonna get 8 miles to the gallon, you know, so, and the way they're bringing dollars right now, that truck, John's, it probably brings close to what we paid for
Whatever y'all, I'm fine with whatever.
Or, I mean,
it.
this
How many
is
miles?
just,
It's got 90.
this is just jumping way out in left field.
Mhm.
But I mean, is there any fire departments that need a rescue truck, or are they all pretty well equipped with pickup
Not
trucks?
in the county.
Okay.
We're in good shape.
Okay. Just auction it off at the
I
house?
was gonna say.
Auction it off
Run it
too.
through the auction, maybe
Run it through the auction.
Mid-state or somebody, run it through the Joe Powell auction. Where the trucks bring the most money.
Okay. So I'll make a motion, we attempt auctioning the F-250 through the car auction. I guess what we call it.
Either at public auction.
Public auction, or, I mean, I guess we could do that, right? We could run it down to Charleston and run it through. And then also that the little black box trailer of Homeland be reallocated to the Park Commission.
Okay, we have that motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone against? That motion does carry.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then, all right, courthouse upgrades. Then we'll get to amendment two. We have, I believe, some fairly severe plumbing and water-related issues in the courthouse. Of course, we've had multiple complaints about a smell issue in the courthouse. I actually went down with Rodney and Jerry down in the basement, and the design of the floor drains and potentially some of the sewage is a large pit in the basement. It's exposed, it's got pumps that don't work, this, that, and the other. I have they're doing a good job with what they got. I want to clarify that clearly. There's nothing unsanitary about it, but I have grave concerns. One backup, one this, one whatever, we're gonna have a lot of problems fast. And so I think between that, and also we believe, talking with Rodney, he and I both believe that when the updated roof was put on the building, some of the plumbing stacks were cut and roofed over. And so I believe that is a large issue causing, with the biometric pressure the other day, bringing all the cold weather down, the smoke down, and everything else, it brings that smell that's accumulated in the attic into the courtroom and gave them the issues that they had. And so I think we need to bring in a contractor of some sort. And Craig, you know more about that than I do.
So it's not venting out the top?
Right, it's venting in the attic. And then when you get that pressure, it brings it right down into your living space, in this situation, the courtroom. So I think both of those issues need to be addressed somehow and as soon as possible. I mean, would you bring in a plumber for that? Would you bring in a GC for that? I mean,
The problem is finding both right now.
well, yeah, that's true.
Is your roof still under warranty?
I don't know if we've got a warranty, but I know that was before I was on. But I remember when you put that on.
It was put on right before the bell tower.
Right. It was put on the year. I
together.
think it's put on in 2018 before I was. Well, not together, because the bell tower's after, because I was here.
Right, but it was like $1 grand and
Right,
Yeah.
one right after the other.
One
They
right
were
Yeah,
the same
year
time
apart
or
or
something?
something.
then
Okay.
they're
Yeah.
apart.
But I'm afraid if those pipes are capped, we're gonna have to go back to that contractor, just bring in a new contractor and get them back up through the
Well,
road.
I'd be concerned about bringing in somebody, first of all, cutting holes in the roof may be a violation, but may void your warranty. So I would go back to the original company that put the roof on, because they should have taken care of that.
And they should have left them up. They should have, if they were cut.
But we don't-
Rodney hasn't had time, but he and I are actually gonna go up in the attic and look.
Well, if you get in the attic, it'd be fairly straightforward.
Right, there it is.
Okay.
You can see where it
Look,
was.
See, yes or no. Okay.
Has
Because
there
that may
been
not
any
be your problem.
monitoring in the attic yet?
And for gases or anything?
No
No.
pigeon.
Okay.
No.
I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Because if it's filling up, we could have.
That's an explosion,
Because it'd be a gas.
Right, because enough quantity it is combustible.
Okay.
Well, I would think that's a workmanship issue, and your contractor who did that shouldn't have to fix
I
that.
think though, if you'll talk to Rodney, you'll find out a decision was made by possibly a former commissioner to cut those pipes.
That could be a problem.
So, cut the costs.
I remember Dalfa that put the roof on.
Is there an opportunity to put an attic ventilation system in, like a peak out there?
I mean, well, not really, because it's all, there's no gables.
Gotcha.
Right.
Vent
Right.
into the bell tower.
Well, yeah.
Keep the birds away.
Is there a flat roof part?
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Garrett, I think we should.
Yes, because
look into
I've walked
That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think we should look into
Look
that.
into it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't care taking on, if I could even have permission to
Yeah,
solicit
go
someone to
ahead.
come out and look into that.
I'll make that motion, we can do.
I'll be calling you because commercial buildings, you know a lot more than me, so.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, anyone against, that motion does carry. Okay? Craig made a motion. Okay.
And then if we
Second
can
amendment?
go back up to amendment 2.
Amendment 2.
Okay. About every other commission, the state's already made a motion on this. However, I know that the three of us have been back and forth because there's one week I want to support it and there's one week I don't. And coming down to election time, which is when people are deciding on this issue, I think it's important that, if anything, we just try to make sure everybody understands what we're looking at from a county perspective, what I'm looking at from a county perspective. I don't want to speak for you all. And if you all ever want to chime in, please just do. We've been waiting for more information from Senate leadership for 4 to 6 months. Nothing else has come out other than trust us, trust us, trust us. Senator Carnes has actually been reaching out to me about a different plan that he has that I can explain a little bit more here shortly, that's more inflation-proof than the current plan to be enacted after Amendment 2. Governor Justice has the proposal to eliminate the state income tax. And, you know, there's so much whirling in the air for the common person, for the politically active person, for the county commissioner, it's hard to decipher. And so if Amendment 2 were to pass, some of the potential pros, no, you're fine, of Amendment 2 is the claim of business recruitment in West Virginia. However, as I know, Commissioner Chapman Atkins and others in the room here very well know, if you are going to try and bring in a business into Nicholas County, where's your workforce going to come from? We have the statewide issue of the workforce being capable, workforce being available, because, you know, our miners have gone out west or found different jobs, and every business in town has a jobs employees wanted, help wanted sign. And so if you're going to bring a business, who's going to work there? Another potential pro Amendment 2 is you might not have to pay your tax on vehicles. There's no guarantee they're going to cut that tax on vehicle. That's just a promise that they'll consider it. With no long-term guarantee funding replacement to the counties, Board of Educations, and cities, you might not have to pay what they're referring to as the 13th car tax, but you might end up paying the 13th and 14th house payment in lieu of that. There is no plan right now by Senate leadership that is inflation-proof to replace the funding that Amendment 2 would take away. And so in Nicholas County, you know, they want to tout that Nicholas County will receive an additional $1 million, which of course 75% of that roughly will go to the Board of Education and 25% will stay with this commission on top of what we receive now. But as we've seen, inflation is far more volatile the last few years and very well could be for the next number of years. And that $250,000 might not even be worth anything in 20 years for commissions in the future. I personally cannot support a plan that could lead to each county coming before the legislature as PEIA, the Department of Highways, local boards of education, in this example, and other state entities are trying to fight to get into the state's budget whenever times get tough again. Whenever the state can't budget everything that they're promising that they can, which will, I mean, it's inevitable. The economy's up and down. We are a resource state. It's going to happen. What's left? Each county commission and assessor are going to be tasked, forced really, to raise property taxes to make sure you keep deputies on the streets, the courthouse is operational, and community services financially whole. I wanted to support Amendment 2. When we first started having meetings about this, I supported Amendment 2. However, in my belief, in the best interest of the financial stability of our county, which is the main responsibility of a county commissioner, is to not support Amendment 2 as presented. Amendment 2 offers a great proposal and ideology. However, there's no back-end plan on how to ensure county commissions, Board of Educations, and cities will have the replacement funds that will be cut by this legislation outside of roughly 4 to 5 years. And of course, as we all know, as Commissioner Atkins knows, Commissioner Chapman knows, you know, we can't run this county on what our term's going to be, what our time in office is going to be, but to set it up for, you know, when we're all dead and gone. That's saying something, because I'm a little bit young still. I just don't act it. But you know, I encourage the public to do their own research. By no means am I out stumping against Amendment 2. However, in the capacity of commissioner, I strongly encourage Nicholas County to consider not supporting Amendment 2 upon your own research until the legislature can provide a much more complete and guaranteed proposal on how county revenue replacement is going to be guaranteed going forward. Because right now we are constitutionally protected to know that money's coming in. Now, it's been volatile. As Assessor Dennison, and were you here when the county went down?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Commissioner Atkins.
Well, no, I wasn't on the county commission.
Okay, yeah.
I was on the other.
Well, yeah, so yeah, the Board of Education, you still saw it. You know,
Okay.
bad days will come again. We've seen it before, we'll do it again. And I do not want the political whim of Charleston to cause the bad days. And Nicholas County. When we're fighting for the economy, we're trying to grow the economy as a county commission, we're bringing in these resources that are taxed, that are brought back to Nicholas County and spent on Nicholas County citizens. Without a guaranteed plan, I can't support Amendment 2 myself, when they can't guarantee me we can provide those services, as mentioned, Homeland Security, Sheriff's Department, and et cetera.
I concur 100%. Okay. I just think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay. It shifts taxes from basically Walmart's to the people. Okay? And it makes the people, and the other thing about West Virginia is we have probably in the lowest 2 or 3 wages that people make anyway. It's not as if we're tops of the nation in wages. We're on the bottom, and it hurts us even more. Okay?
Well, it's something to consider, and I'm not endorsing this, but the Governor Justice has the plan on reducing the state income tax. When you don't have a workforce, you can't bring business. So I think Amendment 2 is backwards. They want to bring in the business, and all the people kind of build it, and they will come. I'd rather bring in a workforce, a capable, willing, and proven workforce, by saying, hey, you don't have to pay state income tax here. And then, as the governor wants to do, as he claims, figure out a way to get rid of these taxes then. But until you have step 1, you can't just jump to step 2. Because otherwise, you're going to end up with stuff just like, with the utmost respect, like the Nicholas County Industrial Park. It's a school site. 3 small businesses and a school site. You can't build it and they will come, and stuff like that has proven it's not going to work. So there's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Do you want to move it for official stance for us? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, I wanted to bring some what a little I could bring of clarification to this, but I mean, I'm willing to put it to a vote myself if you all would like to.
Larry, you want to vote?
Yes.
Supporting or not supporting?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and call for it.
I'll make a motion pending the information we have and have not received. That unfortunately that we need to not support Amendment 2 on this November's ballot.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That vote is unanimous. Okay. Anything else? We have, any public comment?
We did. We've got 2 commissioners' comments.
Okay. Something's.
Yes. First off, just to make the commission aware, the Parks Commission has asked me to go ahead and research phase 2 of the updates, which will finish out the park, and so that will be coming. So just, winter's coming, here's your forewarning. And then also, which group is this?
It's the Women's Resource Center.
The Women's Resource Center, thank you, has brought before us something to consider here in a domestic violence
October is domestic
Awareness.
proclamation. And yes, for October being that. Do you want this read? Okay. So, again, this is the resolution requested by the commission to consider by the Women's Resource Center. And it reads, millions of women and men are impacted by some form of intimate partner abuse each year. Domestic violence can cause injury, fear, post-traumatic stress disorder, housing insecurity, missed school or work, and other devastating consequences. For far too long, domestic violence was considered a family issue and was left for families to address in private. The effects of this epidemic stretched well beyond the home, impacting extended families, schools, and the workplace. Today, we recognize the important roles of the public and private sectors, nonprofit organizations, communities, and individuals in helping to prevent and address domestic violence and create a culture that refuses to tolerate abuse. As we continue the essential work of ending domestic violence, we can all help build a culture where abuse is not tolerated and where survivors are heard, supported, and protected. We can express our gratitude to the remarkable people and organizations that offer care and critical services to survivors of domestic violence, and we remain committed to building a better world where all people can feel safe and respected and live free from abuse. During National Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, we come together to reaffirm our commitment to ending domestic violence and supporting survivors. We honor the tremendous dedication of advocates and service providers, honor the courage and resilience of survivors, and recommit ourselves to standing with them for safety, dignity, and justice. There is still much work to do, and it will take all of us to do it. We must rededicate ourselves to creating a society where domestic violence is not tolerated, where survivors are supported, and where all people have an opportunity to thrive without fear of violence or abuse. Now therefore we, the Commissioners of Nicholas County, do hereby proclaim October 2022 as National Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. We call on all Nicholas County citizens to speak out against domestic violence and support efforts to educate young people about healthy relationships centered on respect. Support victims and survivors in your own families and networks, and to support the efforts of victim advocates, service providers, healthcare providers, and the legal system, as well as the leadership of survivors in working to end domestic violence. They wanted to make note that on October 20th, Thursday, October 20th, there will be a domestic violence vigil placed out front of the courthouse. The vigil will start at 12 p.m. noon, and the remembrance walk to follow. And to my understanding, that remembrance walk will be in honor and name of Deputy Thomas Baker. And if possible, the community, the county is asked to come out and support this event, and if they would wear purple for the National Domestic Violence and Awareness and Prevention Month. That's a mouthful. Craig, do you have anything?
Two things. The city of Summersville, in conjunction, I think, with the vault, they're going to do an Oktoberfest on October 22nd. They're going to block off Main Street and ask to use the courthouse lawn. So we need to make that decision.
Okay.
The city of Summersville handed me this on the way in. They've applied, because it was a rush thing, for a grant to do a light display in Summersville. They like to do it at the park. So if we get the grant, the city gets the grant, it's the city and county together, they just file the paperwork.
Okay.
But it's for $30,000 to put up a big light display.
Like Christmas lights.
I guess it's Christmas
Yeah.
lights.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Okay.
And that we're okay with that.
Well, our mission is to make Nicholas County Veterans Memorial Park look like one giant Christmas ball. So that helps our efforts. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
When is Oktoberfest?
22nd. Downtown Somersville.
And I want to we need to indulge, and find out who pays this hotel motel tax in the county. And let's get a list and let's
Right.
investigate this thing.
Okay.
Oh, a list of the vendors.
Angie can
Like
get that.
who-
They'll get hotel. They'll
you
get
know,
Airbnb
like,
in for
Susan, how much she pays a year, and I just need all that information.
Gotcha.
Okay, please. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? Motion does carry. We are adjourned.